going and
going. Transportation.
Yeah, I'm spending them like that. And then the market woman will tell you that even from back of my house that I pass and come to this market, I have spent enough, more than I used to spend. And then coming to the word petrol gunning, I think that should make it to the dictionary at this point. I remember that when Buhari was in office, there was this clamor that, oh, Buhari should be added to the dictionary because the synonym is hardship or you yet, but he's not there.
Fingers crossed. Over to you.
Thank you. All right, everyone, good morning to you. This is Kakaaki Social. I'm Obozeghie. Now, the federal government says, although the tripartite committee on national minimum wage is yet to arrive at a task or a figure for negotiations because it hasn't been concluded, workers will not lose anything as the new minimum wage will take effect from May 1, 2024. Well, the Minister of State Labour, Nkuruka Onyejocha, said this on Wednesday while she was addressing Nigerian workers at the May Day celebration in Abuja. She said it is regrettable that the national minimum wage is yet to be ready. However, a wide consultation is ongoing to ensure that the document is put together as soon as possible.
Workers should be rest assured that despite the short delay, the minimum wage will take effect on from 1st May 2024.
It's not when it takes off. It's what is there. What is the quantum? That's our meeting. If they want to negotiate till December, but the arrears from May, we don't mind.
In at this point to see your thoughts on the development. Who is going first on the space of X? Okay, Saddam Hussein says it's taken more than a year to come up with minimum wage, but a second to remove subsidy. This subsidy thing, we're not getting over it anytime soon. Ahmad says the expected new national minimum wage or living wage must take effect from 1st April 2024 because the expired 30,000 Naira minimum wage of 5 years lifespan took effect from April 1st, 2019 and expired on 31st March 2024. Hence, okay, we couldn't finish that. Bongo says still being negotiated, but it will take effect May 1st, 2024, which is today. Or more, if this our government no be propaganda, fulham, all these things for no they happen, how can somebody that is still being negotiated or something that is still being negotiated, how can it still take effect today? I highly say we are finished, but then helping our understanding in the final slide as a reaction to this is Oluwafemi, who says what this means is that anytime it is being implemented, even though na December, them implement they will pay the arrears starting from May 1st, 2024. Of course, that's what it means. Make una they try digest information. And as you saw in one of the sound bites that we had, he says they don't care, they don't mind whenever they are done with the negotiations, whenever the document comes out, whenever the percentage or the figure is ready. What they care is it must be something tangible. How much is it? What are you working on? That's their concern. But then we move away from that to say that the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, has accused the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, of inciting people of the southeast against the federal government over the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road project. Well, Umahi said this in Lagos State on Wednesday during a stakeholders meeting, and he was reacting to Peter Obi, who among many other people commented on the project as a misplaced priority and urged the federal government to discontinue it to make economic sense. Let's listen to Umahi in Lagos.
I just believe that my brother Landmark is simply playing politics with, politicians, because there is nothing to claim. It brings me to some of the comments made by my brother, His Excellency Peter Obi. Similar scenario when His Excellency Peter Obi was governor, and he made a statement. He said, any infrastructure that stands on the way of road construction must go. and there will be no compensation paid. But look at me, by the human face of Renewed Hope Agenda Administration, we are even paying for people that are illegally staying on the coastline and do not even have, valid infrastructure and valid documents. That is messy. When you condemn people, you bring judgment upon yourself. And that's what he has done. And I think he's inciting some of the Southeast people that are not well informed. He's inciting them, and he gets them into trouble, and he doesn't go to fight for them.
Okay, so that was Umahi in Lagos State yesterday on the development. You remember that Peter Obi had on Tuesday said that it is out of place. It doesn't make economic sense at the moment. There's no need for it because of primarily the jobs that will be lost, and there are other businesses to continue with, and the feared abandonment of the project. Alabi says almost every country have people like Peter Obi. There was a previous slide before this one, so we could have that reaction and have it objective as much as possible. But then we could just do this one. It says almost every country have people like Obi in the political space. US have Trump. France have Marine Le Pen. UK have Boris Johnson. Argentina have Javier Milei. All they do is project populism with nothing to offer. It's now left for the sensible citizens never to give them power. Okay, Arinze says, I really don't understand why this government is worried about someone they believed came a distant third in the election. If Peter Obi coughs, wahala. If he smiles, headache everywhere. Why are you worried so much about someone you defeated fair and square? Is there something we don't know that you know? Okay, so let's see who is coming to answer that. Perez says the project is too expensive at $16 billion. They want to use the project to cash out. We already have routes to Calabar. It's a waste of money. The existing roads should be rehabilitated. Federal government should work on pressing issues that will affect the welfare of the people positively. Absolutely. Our layman's view says, I am disappointed at Dave Umahi, not just because he failed to address the point Peter Obi made in his submissions, but also tried to trivialize it by bringing tribal sentiment. The discussion was on priority of that road. Tomorrow, they will say Peter Obi brought in tribe to politics. Well, it's good that the both of them are from same region. He actually says, my brother. So let's see. Even the landmark beach, the owner that the case is being made for at this point, is also from there. So let's see how all of this go and what finally happens. And then finally, for the chairman of Dangote Industries Limited, Aliko Dangote, the devaluation of the Naira was the biggest challenge in the year 2023. He was speaking on the formidable obstacles that were encountered in the tempting year, as he would put it. And in his words, he says that the biggest mess created was the devaluation of the Naira from 460 to 1,400 Naira. You can see that almost 97% of companies in the food and beverages business, none of them will pay dividends this year, but will try and get out of it. That is him right there and his concern at their business meeting. How did this meet netizens? Because this was also big on the space of social media yesterday. We take reactions from X, and going first is Damilola, who says this was all shades of wrong from the onset. Our country, not keen on export, should not be devaluing its currency. Emilokon was next. So what do I know? Now you go answer that one. Potential president says the biggest mess is the capitalists having more control over Nigeria and its economy. The government needs to take it back or watch the capitalists who have nothing to lose live with their family in the private jet after plunging the country into chaos. This set of people would later be the ones sponsoring all opposition and groups, and it says that would be against the governor. Let's see more thoughts. Inshotech blogger says, waiting they happen to Naira and a big shame. Government, they manage economy like them, they manage a mere kiosk. Them they manage or they make poor man suffer. They make rich man richer. Them get clue at all or them just they chop dollars like pure water. Pure water would be that it is quite so available. Well, that's how we call it a day today on Kakaaki Social. Please do well to reach out to us. Tell us what's happening in the corner of your space. And our WhatsApp number, please do not call, is 081154366670.
All right. So, I mean, from short of words, I mean, the reviewer earlier talked about the fact that these people shouldn't make it about ethnicity and make it more about the people. He asked the question, why?
Coastal Road.
Of course, and asked whether this was even relevant, currently, and who the matter help, in local parlance. But I don't know what you think about it, rather. Landmark was such a prominent, for some people, they have a lot of memories attached to it. But beyond that, it created jobs. And so people are asking, what happens next if they're not going to be compensated? Because front page newspaper said federal government will compensate. Another one said, no, they're not compensating. So what next? What are you expecting to see from
Well,
this?
about compensation, I think that Dave Umahi has been clear that there would be, and even yesterday, only that it was too lengthy for us to accommodate. He says that, we would be accommodating, we would be compensating, and that was why I even called out Peter Obi, and he says in his time as the governor of Anambra State, he did the same thing, demolished without compensation, but this is the renewed hope that has mercy. He actually says they are merciful, and that's why they would be doing it. But talk about the landmark. People now are beginning to say, it was even too expensive, or it was not for the common person, it was elite,
But they were paying taxes.
and all of that. But yes, absolutely, they were. The people have continued. They made a statement on Tuesday, and they said what we did for 6 years was taken down in 6 hours. But the government continued to say, none of your property is being touched, nothing is being affected. And there are pictures on the space of social media where we have the landmark or the route that the coastal road was to take, marked in red, and then the new route they are taking is marked in yellow. And we're asking what really happened. Is this about this person? Of course, there are other businesses, but this is topping the chart because apparently it looks like the biggest of them or that people were really, really familiar with. But then, let's see how much compensation. Of course, compensation is never 100% of your loss.
Absolutely.
So let's see what percentage they would be giving out at this, because, of course, you versus the government is already 1-0 for you.
And somebody said it's actually a waste of funds. I mean, I listened to you read out one of the comments from, I don't know what his name was, but he said, why would they do this when we already have existing, routes to ply? Was this necessary at this time? In fact, it reminded me of the press conference that was held at a sister station, one of the delightful females who gave a comeback to the minister when he was trying to feign lack of understanding and translation.
Yes. Excuse you. You have a lot of people around you. Get an interpreter.
I'm sure you enjoyed that. How did you see that coming?
Oh my God. In fact, I hugged her. Even though I know she's in Lagos, we are here in Abuja. Yeah. I hugged her virtually. I'm like, come on, mama. That's it. Fantastic. Someone wants to ask you a question. She sounded and she looked like she had proofs. She knew what she was talking about. And then the biggest or the best thing you could say was, hey, I grew up from the village. I don't understand. In fact, there's a voice note right now that is making the round. Of course, cocky. I could not use it because it's too big an accusation not to verify before pushing out. So, I mean, that lady...
And she just, stuck to her guns and was confident until she got a response.
What she was talking about.
Yes, and he ended up listening and hearing the language regardless
without an interpreter.
Without an interpreter, and then, But anyway, it's been one of the conversations on social media and saying that's the kind of media we should continue to encourage, and politicians should not try to deafen the voice of free speech from journalists. But going forward, Dangote too is in the news saying that, the free fall of Naira is the worst thing to happen. It's the biggest mess in 2023. And going back to some of the conversations, one would say half the mighty are complaining. Meanwhile, they are the ones that used to get the best waivers from the big boys. So what's gone wrong? Do you think that something is biting somewhere?
Well, some of the comments, of course, we have to sieve and leave out money to save time. One said that it's because maybe he took loan at 400 Naira and now he has to pay back at 1,400. That's times 3, which is not even healthy for any business. Apparently, that could be why he's is complaining. I mean, he did not come out to say that. He only said that to maybe his partners because it was an annual general meeting. He says that, oh, many companies could not even pay dividends, but I tell you that we are going to do something beautiful for our partners. So, yeah, who knows? It could be genuine. It could also be, as that netizen suggested, that it's because he has to pay ×3 of what he collected.
And that's also really bad because, you know, it means that even those who are supposedly meant to create buffers, he says that the refinery will start, you know, sometime, so maybe in July, but we don't know until it starts. So we'll not say it will start, you know, until we see. Because the case is like the more you look,
The less
you know,
you
the
see.
less you see. But right now, people are living under the bridge for 250,000 per annum. I know you didn't bring it up, but you saw that demolition that was going under the bridge. People actually had apartments, they had rooms, and people were collecting money, and that was where the hub of crime was. And it keeps me wondering, you know, whether there are also areas like that in the FCT where people need to go and investigate to find out if those places are unidentified, illegal harboring spaces for criminals.
I mean, I saw it yesterday. I was like, oh, someone had 250,000 naira to pay, and then it was still under the bridge. I think they said that the landlord, someone who was collecting the money or caretaker, was even living under the bridge as well. So you were living under the bridge, and you have a house of 250K in this Tinubu economy to collect from tenants, and then you did not even have a space to live. I mean, you just talk about that government is not always the problem, individuals, and that's why we continue to say that you would be an activist until you get there, and then you suddenly become against the people. Because it is individuals who have said, oh, I can do it, these people are not doing well, they get the space, the opportunity to go there, do the job, and then very soon, lack of accountability, lack of transparency soon become the problem, because this is not Tinubu, this is not Buhari who has done this, it is an individual just like us who did this.
Taking advantage.
Taking advantage of a fellow person.
Yes. And you know, it's quite sad because you find out that if you investigate further, you may also find out that those people go from there to work as normal people, and you would see them in offices or perhaps, you know, eateries where they serve as waitresses or waiters, but you may not know where they're coming from. And again, when you want to put that in the map, you know, and put your address in the map or tell, I mean, how do they, I don't, can someone like that take
I mean,
an
how
Uber?
many houses have address?
I
Come to my house now,
understand.
it's like when you get to the mango tree, take your left, you now take your right, you see a cashew tree, there's a story building painted white. That's the addresses that we
Oh dear.
use.
Oh dear.
I mean, my pastor used to tell us in church, at the Supernatural Life Church, that you need to thank God, because look at you that your house did not have address before. Now you can set a ring light and go live on Instagram, and you think God is not doing well for you. So that was just on a light note, but I mean, get into your house right now, we don't even need address. Just tell me the landmark, which color of building is next to yours, and
615,000 naira, labor is demanding.
For lack of words, let me...
I almost thought you were going to trip walk. Please, let me let you know. Thank you so much, Rana, this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have
Good
a
time with
lovely
you, as
day.
always.
Yes, absolutely.